deserve to have the best physical, mental, spiritual. Zealous Wellness with Mike Hollis.
Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Zealous Wellness with Mike Hollis. I'm your host, and today I've got some special guests with me, and I'll introduce them in a second. But with regards to like the weather in the nation right now, we've got a lot of weird stuff going on. We've got some snow again up in New York and in Florida here in Jacksonville. It's a little chilly today. It was like 86 degrees a couple days ago, and then yesterday it went down into the 40s and 50s, and this morning it was 30 something. So I'm kind of a little tired of dealing with cold weather because I don't like cold weather anymore. But it's not good for my joints, especially after having 4 back surgeries. I do tend to lock up a little bit in the colder weather. But definitely want to introduce and talk about our guests for the show tonight. It's going to be a little long introduction, but it's well worthy of it because these two ladies are amazing. And pre-show tonight, we had a great conversation. So energetic and so full of life and love. So I'm proud to introduce Zuzu, Karen Zeimer Armez, and her daughter Amy, of course. So Zuzu always says that she's truly loves her guts, and she lives it. All right, so I love that part. If you know Karen, aka Zuzu, you know that she's a woman who can't be tied down with 69-acre retreat center in Georgia, an online school of natural medicine, 12 children in 5 different U.S. states, speaking gigs all over the country, and people to serve. She keeps her life very full. Zuzu has reversed her epilepsy, scoliosis, and arthritis using protocol, science-based nutrition, and has she's turned that passion into hands-on community, educating inspiring countless others to use simple home-based strategies for vibrant health. She doesn't just lecture about healing. She whips up creative, allergy-friendly meals, gets her clients into the garden, and runs bodcasts. That's pretty cool. Bodcasts sessions so that that actually get people to laugh while they learn about what their bodies need. I think that's pretty cool. What stands out with Zuzu is that she now translates complicated science into everyday actions. Her cooking classes at Lily Fields always become spirited problem-solving sessions, helping people fall back into love with real food. As she always teaches over 120 modalities of healing, natural modalities. That's a really cool thing too. So I think we're going to learn a lot from Zuzu today. Zuzu is joined by her daughter Amy, a Johns Hopkins public health expert, forming a dynamic duo who unite grounded science with real-world impact. Their approach marries cellular healing with integrative wellness, a perfect fit for your mission and audience. 45,000 speakers. So they definitely have a lot of interest and a lot of fans out there, of course. And you can find their information on zuzuunleashed.com. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Amy and Zuzu.
Awesome. Are we supposed to go, woo! Yay! Oh my gosh, Mike, I need your autograph. Okay.
Tell me, you guys, how did this all start? Where did you guys start all this? I know with Zuzu you had some health issues, but did you just kind of get morphed into this?
Yeah, I was teaching a class on baking bread, and people were they came out of everywhere. Mind you, I was like hours from people, and they drove hours and hours. They were there until 2 a.m. They're in there baking bread, right? Grinding wheat, baking bread. And they were like, how do I learn more? And where do I get all this stuff? And I was like, well, I'll open up a store. Well, then I opened up a health food store, and then I opened a cafe, and then we opened a wellness center, and then I opened up a school, and then we opened more wellness centers, and it just kind of morphed because the need and the want was there. And I was like, well, yeah, what else do I do?
Yeah, I would like to echo that. A lot of what we've done has been based off of like what our observed needs were in the community. Not necessarily what we want to do. I thought I was going to go be an actress. Like I had a totally different game plan, but I grew up in holistic healthcare and like really watching people put conditions that their doctor said they were just going to have to take a pill forever to manage. And I'm not like within weeks, sometimes months, sometimes years, but people would have miraculous results. I mean, either putting things, not just putting their condition into remission, but literally getting healthier, way healthier than they were before they had the diagnosis. So I just grew up seeing this over and over and over again. And then I go off to college and school to get my, degree. And there was just this strange absence of natural health education in the curriculum. And I was like, how come they're not talking about the gut microbiome? How come they're not talking about emotional health? How come they're not talking about sunlight? They were saying the sun's bad for you. Like all this stuff where I'm like, where are you getting your information from? And then that's when I learned about the Flexner report, the 1910 Flexner report.
Talked about that. Yep.
Yeah. And so then I told Mom, I'm like, Mom, who's teaching the science behind natural healing, like in an academic setting? Like, where are people supposed to go? TikTok? I mean, that wasn't even around then, but the concept was there was not a lot of organized, structured places for people to go to like learn the science behind natural healing. So that really led us to start a school. And so now I'm just like knee deep, and my career mission is to have the
Honey,
world's,
it's more than knee deep.
Yeah.
You're about up to here right now. Just putting it out there.
I'm like Everest inverted underground deep in.
Well,
yeah, it's fun.
I can say we need more people like you. That's what kind of got me into this whole thing. And even like with COVID, there was a lot of fishy stuff going on with COVID. Yeah. And I had to like think like that. It's the total opposite of what they're telling me to do. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like what? Wait. And I knew enough at that time to know that there was something up. And so I kind of morphed into this as well. With my background being a professional, football player, it was part of my job to be healthy and fit and in shape and all that. And I just kind of, I didn't want to be anything other. And then when it came to, the healing properties, you guys are right along in the same sort of boat as we are, especially with regards to just natural healing. And our bodies are meant to heal themselves. And what Big Pharma and what the Reflection Report and all this stuff in this big roundabout circle has done is monetized the sickness of America, which it makes me sick even to think about that they're profiting off of our sickness, and they want to squash any sort of information that's good for us naturally to get us back into healthy shape. So I really commend what you guys are doing. I look forward to hearing more about what you guys have planned for the future. How long have you guys been doing this?
Well, I just figured it out that my first green drink was when I was 18, which was 40 years ago. And that's what changed my life. And so literally the original green smoothie girl, I love Robin Openjar. She's the green smoothie girl, but the original one is Margaret Bench. So I started this in college, and it has been amazing. So that's how long I've been in it. Amy was born into it. So her whole life, she literally would stand in our store. All my kids would help. After they got home from school, was stocking the shelves, guys. They always accuse me of child labor laws being broken like every day, but oh well. And so it's just been kind of part of our world. Yeah. And we haven't stopped. We're definitely not slowing down. So it's been amazing.
We'll definitely keep up what you're doing. Amy, what's your experience through all this? I mean, you were born into it clearly, of course, and you had a different road that you took. But what is your interest in all this? I know that you're incredibly passionate about this, but it came from your mom, right?
Yeah. Thanks for asking that, because there was a period about 5 years between college and graduate school where I didn't work in holistic healthcare. I mean, I went out, did other businesses with friends, went
to Thailand to go kickboxing.
Yeah,
can't forget that.
I got into competitive Muay Thai for a while. So I kind of like went out and did my own thing, and it just became increasingly aware to me that we think that America is struggling with health right now, and it's true. But there are a lot of countries right now that are really struggling with health as well. I mean, in America, we have health food stores where you can go get organic versions of everything and all these herbs. And for the most part, depending on what store you go to, a lot of it hasn't been tested, but you can still get really reliable brands. And there's a lot of nutritional awareness here compared to some other countries I traveled to, some third world countries and second world countries, where, I mean, for instance, there's some countries where it's safer to drink soda pop than water. Yeah. And people are like living off of Coca-Cola and Fanta and these bottled drinks because they don't have safe water. and their blood sugar numbers, I mean, you could have people in the 300s, like just off the charts levels. So it put my heart back into public health and just wanting to do what she was working in the private sector. You know, my whole life it was all small business startup stuff. Like we just literally, I mean, I think there was one point we had 8 different businesses running at the same time. We had like a wedding center and a floral shop and a cafe and a wellness center and a childcare center. And like, I don't even know how many businesses you can run at one time, but and specifically her, by the way, not normal people.
I've narrowed it down now.
Yeah,
Come on,
this is not healthy. I don't recommend it. Okay, but she can handle it somehow. And I realized I was like, I would love to do that at a policy level, which is then why I went back to graduate school in healthcare policy at Hopkins. And I was expecting to have this like awesome integrative program. And I started Hopkins in November of 2020. So like right at the crux of the pandemic. And listen, I don't know what I'm allowed to say and not allowed to say, but some of the conversations I heard in those classrooms, like I was mortified that this was apparently the best school of public health in the world. Like there was one, just to give you an example, there was one, and a lot of their curriculum is good. I'm not saying it's all bad, but some of these mindsets were insane. Like during the pandemic, one time I asked a cardiologist, I was like, hey, what can people do to try to prevent getting COVID at home? You know, like, because I was reading all these papers coming out about if you go for walks and keep your upper respiratory tract clean so you don't get stuffy, then it can decrease your risk of the secondary infection and all of that. And, you know, vitamin D and zinc and these different things. And he literally said, man, besides like staying at home and being a hermit and waiting for the vaccine to come out, like, I'm not sure there's much you can do. And for the next 2 years too. It's like, besides waiting for the vaccine, he literally said, be a hermit. No, this is a cardiologist. And he said, be a hermit. And I'm like, I don't have enough Q-tips in the world to clean my ears out and double check what I just heard come out of a cardiologist's mouth. Right. So that was my wake up call, man. Going to school there. And I was like, healthcare policy in this country is not going to be ready for me for another decade. So I just came on board and worked with my mom full time after that.
Yeah, it's a shame, and that's exactly what I was thinking too. Is like, this is just unbelievable when there's the monopoly over the sources that we're learning from. All the educational textbook thing comes from a certain family that has a certain ideal that is not in our best interest. Clearly, we understand that that's been going on for a very long time, and we've been deceived. We really have, and it's very sickening to know that people have died in a case where they could have lived, and they've died because of the treatments that they were given. What kind of and again, I don't want you to be specific, for HIPAA and all that stuff, but is there any challenges you guys face with the clients that you have as far as any disease relations or like parasite, like what kind of stuff that do you deal with on a daily basis with most of your clients?
Well, I just want to say that I think it was a great time. I mean, because COVID woke everybody up, and I went to graduation. So like, people are wide awake. It's people like who maybe run the institutions that aren't so much, because sitting in the bleachers, and we love to sit at the very back because I'm like looking at everybody. So we're at the Johns Hopkins graduation, and there are thousands of people there to watch the graduation, and the people on the stage were 100% out of touch with everybody in the audience. Yeah. That 90% of the audience was not even like happy about what they were. We were all shaking our heads. Yeah. And then when they're like they had an intermission, let's put our hands up for vaccines, right? And like, no one, hardly anybody in the audience, they were like, boo. Like, it was just, and Amy's whole section. So the thing is, people are awake. And so when they come in now, like, we have a lot of, and this is not just us, because our students are all over the world. They say the same thing. And I work with a lot of medical doctors and naturopathic doctors. We hear this from everyone. People are coming in saying, I don't want a medication. What can you do for me? And so we go right back. And there's a lot of parasites. There are so many parasites. And just putting out there, parasites are real. And when you kill parasites off in the body, you actually change who you are. Your personality can change. Your hormonal state can change because they can mimic so much in the body. And they steal all your nutrients. And so parasites are probably the number one thing that we're thrilled people are waking up to, and they're taking the ivermectin and the hydroxychloroquine, and they're taking, they're doing borax or whatever they're all doing. They're doing things that are helping to kill their parasites, and they're literally seeing them, and they're actually starting to feel better. And we don't just do parasites, obviously do everything, but it's just been really neat because we have a clinic, we have a retreat going on right now, and we have a bunch of people here that are on parasite, formulas and detox teas and doing lymphatic suits and doing these things. And they're so excited because they feel so well. And it's just, we had one gentleman who's here for the second time, and beforehand he couldn't come. His wife would be like, no, he's just not into anything. And then he came and heard us speak one time. Then he decided, okay, I'll go to the retreat, because she dragged him. He lost 5 pant sizes so far. He looks incredible. And he's like, Karen, he said, Karen, he came in one day randomly and just kissed me on the cheek. Don't worry. And he was like, you have saved my life. My whole life, I have energy. I feel incredible. It wasn't me. It wasn't Amy. It was him. All they need is to learn. And I think that's why we get so passionate about what we do. And Amy has been writing letters to her previous school offering to help, because we just keep hoping it's because they don't know, and so hopefully those doors will open.
Yeah. And I just, one thing I'll mention, because we don't treat with like ivermectin. We're a completely non-pharmacological clinic. Although there is a time and a place for prescription strength antiparasitics.
Sure.
One of our biggest approaches to gut health is really rebuilding the good gut bacteria. That is the biggest issue. People's gut bacteria is wiped out right now. And in Western medicine, we love the mentality. We love the mentality in Western medicine, in modern medicine, that we need to kill whatever's in your body. Like, is it the bacteria? Is it the virus? Is it the parasite? Is it the cancer? Is it the whatever it is? Like, kill it. And
that take it out.
That's everyththing else too in the process.
Kidney. You don't need those damn brats.
And our approach in holistic health, it's actually mirrors nature. You have health when there's diversity in the ecosystem, and you have way worse health when you lower diversity. I do not know. You're talking about people unnecessarily suffering, Mike. I do not know how many more years it will be until we change standard of care protocols to address the reality that the more you kill someone's microbiome, the sicker they will get. And like, we're seeing this now with kids who are getting sick every 2 weeks now. There are moms out there who are like, my kids are sick for the 6th time this winter, and it's more antibiotics, and they're not on a single probiotic. They're not on any fiber supplements. They're not on anything to rebuild those kids' guts. And like, it's your microbiome is your army. Like, they are your number one defense team working in conjunction with your immune system. If you do not have a gut microbiome, you are wiping out half of your infantry by doing that. And you're going to be more prone to everything that you come in contact with. So I would say our biggest approach here is to build. And when you're asking, like, what are the biggest things we're seeing? I mean, I'm biased because I'm a gut health specialist, but rebuilding a gut microbiome is foundational for mental health issues, for sleeping disorders. There's usually a few things we look at. GABA is, related to that, anxiety, too many stimulants, minerals, etc. But I would say over half the conditions people walk in with, hypertension. I mean, high blood pressure, constipation, man. If someone is not pooping, like, that's the first place to start. If someone has high blood pressure, we got to get your bowels emptying, because being constipated puts literal pressure on your vasculature system. Not to mention, stuff is getting reabsorbed into your circulation. And so you really want to be emptying your bowels. And we've had people, drop their blood pressure points significantly, literally just by us helping them regulate their colon, and them not having to go on hypertensive medication after their doctor was like, you need to get on hypertensive medication.
I had this lady come in, and she was just rashed her whole body, and it had been like that for years. She's like, no one can help. There's no one who can help. I've been all over. And I'm like, honey, you're constipated. She goes, how'd you know? I said, because your toxins can't get out of your skin, honey. Like, that must mean they can't. Well, no, they can't even get out of the skin. And you only have 4 ways to get things out. So if the colon is suppressed, if we're not having 2 or 3 bowel movements a day, yes, every day, guys, right? If you eat 2 or 3 don't eat your bowel movements. Well, I mean, you could, because that might get you really well. But like, someone else's bowel movements, yours kind of suck. But like, if you aren't eating 2 or 3. If you're eating 2 or 3 meals a day, you'll have 2 or 3 bowel movements a day. And it's the number one reason children go to clinics or hospitals in America is constipation, hands down. And I personally believe, after working with so many senior citizens, that is the number one cause of fatality among our seniors. It just is. They're on so many pharmaceuticals. They cannot have a bowel movement. Their livers are totally screwed up. And so they can't process. And bowel movements are everything. And so, yeah, I talk about poop and sex every day because they're both things that don't work for most people and really need to. And so it is something that people just need to be more aware of.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's very good information. I mean, that's one of the things that recently has come out with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., where with the glyphosate and Trump and saying it's across the board okay to use, and I'm like, that doesn't make it. What's your opinion on that? I don't understand it. Like, is that one of those things, a monopoly? Like, we better not shut that down because it'll ruin a lot of opportunity for profit, or what?
Well, this is where you might have two sides of the story here.
Well, they can do the same thing with lasers.
My opinion in this is rooted like pretty far back in just having friends in agricultural engineering and economics look at like what it would do to and there are plenty of people who say this is a fallacy. Okay, so I'm just letting you know there's a counter argument to what I'm about to say. But they have run numbers on what it would do to our food system if we were to immediately eliminate glyphosate. And it could be it could present significant challenges as across the food system because of how much it would just totally shake how conventional agriculture is being done right now. And so from an economical standpoint, it would be about how can we develop something that is as cost effective that can replace glyphosate and just pour our funding into looking at cost effective alternatives, because it is just a law in economics. If you don't have a more economical solution, it's going to be an uphill battle to get it swapped out. So it's just about, we got to find alternatives to that. This is where
Which they do have it now.
Yeah, there are alternatives.
They have it. Lasers and lights can kill all the weeds.
Right, I know, but the cost of implementing that is it's just going to be a transition. So I'm not thinking people are like going back on their word right now. I haven't just been like mortified by it because everything's going to be a process. I'm just happy consumers are aware of glyphosate. No one even knew what that was 5 or 10 years ago, literally. Right. So I was like, people care about glyphosate? I'm like, this is a huge win for us right now. Like, people know what it is. So that's my 2 cents, is I'm going to have a little bit of grace for this transition.
Just so there's a transition.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. There must be a transition because we can't keep doing this, because if you look at the actual studies that I've been studying for decades, you are looking at children's microbiome. Their guts have become pharmaceutical factories that kill off their own microbiome. That's already been studied, and that was studied overseas. Wow. So yeah, there are lasers and all sorts of things that are coming out that are already there that can help with the weeding. Look at the other countries that obviously, don't use glyphosate. Now, one thing though, Mike, if I can throw it on there, one other thing that everyone should be very, very aware of is what I call side dishes: insecticide, larvicide, herbicide, pesticide. Those are all being sprayed on your food, and a ton, literally multiple tons a year. Those side dishes are all designed to kill a living nervous system. And so the nervous system of a plant or an insect or the larvae inside of your pork chops, right, and your meat. And so we need to be aware of that, because we introduced larvicides and pesticides and insecticides and pesticide, whatever, all of them, and boom, herbicides. Our kids, their nervous systems if you look at when it was introduced and you look at ADD, ADHD, it just goes to completely different, because we're killing nervous systems, MS, issues with our brain, right? Look at all of the issues we have with schizophrenia, we have with depression, we have with Alzheimer's. We have so many issues that are nervous system disorders because of 2 things. Number one, the side dishes that are destroying their nervous system. And then the nervous system itself. Picture this being a nerve, right? And that little black ink in the middle of this, I keep this for demonstration purposes. Oh my God. And so that little black ink is your nerve. Zing, 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 right? Billions and billions of nerves are just firing all the time. And they're running through myelin sheath. And so this plastic here is actually myelin sheath in your body, and you have endless miles of it, and it's all made out of fat. So what fats are you eating? This is the last day anybody should use vegetable oil for the rest of their life. Raise your right hand right now. I will never eat vegetable oil again, or Crisco. I don't deep fry things in Crisco, because those are the oils and fats that we're making our myelin sheath out of. And if we're feeding that crap to our kids, what good are we doing them? You're not too busy to put some trail mix together or get some apples and oranges and bananas and have fast food in the car. No one's too busy. No one's too busy, but we aren't aware. And so that awareness is what's finally getting out there, and we're thrilled about it. So just watch out for the side dishes, because I think that is right now, that's more important to avoid those and eating organically to do so than the glyphosate.
Yeah. Do you, and I think it all revolves around trust. It's hard for us to even trust what we're eating. I always bring this up in almost every episode when we talk about nutrition. Of course, I always say, go to the grocery store, and if there's a health food section in the grocery store, what does that make the rest of the store? A bunch of junk and crap, and you know what I mean? Like, so we've been on this whole process of eating processed foods and being convenient, which is obviously something you mentioned before. Where do you see us in the next 10, 20, 30 years from now, as far as like a society and understanding that natural healing and more holistic sort of modalities, and not modalities, but things that will help us? I know, based on, I think ever since COVID, I think people are starting to really wake up, and it, it's things are more obvious now to me these days than they were back in the day, because you did trust the government, you did trust your doctor, you did trust all these people that had authority and knowledge and all that. But now you look at them like, well, they didn't learn the right stuff, clearly.
Yeah.
But where do you see us in the next 30 years or so as a society?
Yeah, well, I'm happy to answer that first, because I think for sure we have lived through the worst of it. Like, I put out congratulations on my Facebook page after some of these, policies get passed. I'm like, congratulations, guys, you lived through the worst era of food systems of human history, among civilized populations, excluding droughts and times when tyrannical leaders cut off imports from other countries and starved their populations. Those historical pieces aside, as far as distorting our food as it comes into us, we're totally on the other side of the worst of it as far as consumer awareness and consumer demand. I'm really hopeful of the future of regenerative agriculture. Have you had a regenerative farmer on your podcast yet?
No.
Yeah, you ought to interview one, because
awesome.
because I used to be worried about, like, oh man, if we eat more meat, and we already have an issue with the just all the issues related to, is there going to be food shortages if we blah 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 blah. Regenerative agriculture is like how to work the land so that the land gets healthier while the animals get healthier while the humans get healthier. And it's actually a viable equation, because when animals walk around and their heavy hooves are pushing into the ground, it aerates, it creates more oxygen in the soil itself, and then their waste material adds nutrients back into the soil. And then roots grow deeper because of that, and that helps the soil absorb more water. And so now you have more nutrient-rich, healthier soil. So then you come behind the animals and you plant your crops, and there's more nutrients in the soil. Because here's one issue we have in America right now, is there's 17 minerals that the human body needs from soil. And in conventional agriculture, they only replenish the soil with 3. The 3 that help the crops grow bigger and faster. They don't add the minerals that increase nutrient density, because it doesn't give you a faster, bigger yield. So why would they?
Yeah, that's all about the money, right?
So now you have 14 minerals, like trace minerals and macro minerals that the human body needs, like zinc and
iodine,
and manganese and all these other things. That's not in the soil anymore. And so with regenerative agriculture, you're adding minerals back into the ground that's going into the plants that the people get to eat. And so it's really just about redesigning our systems. And the people who have run economics on this, they're like, this is not far-fetched, but we will be needing to support our farmers differently. Because I'm sure, farmers they've never been the enemy in this whole equation. It's the big corporations that are forcing
they know
them.
who the enemy
They're
is.
trying to take over the farms.
They know who the enemy is.
Chinese are buying up all farm. Bill Gates is buying up a bunch of farmland, and there's I just saw some stats. I can't remember the numbers, but so many farmers who have been around forever are gone now. They've sold our properties, and they're not. Now the government and people that we don't want running those farms are running those farms.
Right.
That's another reason that you brought up about the soil deficiency as far as the nutrient values and stuff. And that's why they say, and I think there's a stat that said something like in today's world, it would take you 18 apples to get the equivalent nutritional value of one apple that was grown back in 1980.
Wow.
That is sick.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
to mention the wax and all the crap they put on those apples.
Right.
It's like you have to prepare your food. Like you have to get rid of all the junk that, if you can.
Yeah.
And I saw something the other day about a guy was talking about the numbers that are on certain labels on fruits and vegetables and stuff. And if it starts with a 3, it means that it's been that all the pesticides have been in the roots. Like, so you can't wash off the pesticides in those. And I can't remember if it was 3 or not, but there's a number starts with number 3, starts with number 4, and all that stuff. But my point is that there's so many things out there that are literally killing us, and we don't know that, and that's where that whole deception comes in. It's really a sad story when it comes to the reason why all this whole process of what's behind the big picture of corporate and the people that are running the show, the decision makers on our food. And I've always talked about, your hands are kind of tied in a sense. Now, that's another question I'd love to ask you guys. You find that people feel that they have no other choice but to buy from your local Publix, and you can go but even Whole Foods, you're seeing things made in different countries coming from Whole Foods and having geoengineered the products within those products as well. Like, how do you find that a lot of people that feel like their hands are tied and they can't get good nutrition?
Yeah, I think so. But I also, this is our world, so it's a little separate than the real world. And so we have a lot of people who are definitely focused on getting good food and better food. I wanted to share something when you were talking just now, because I was a mom. I raised a large family, and I made almost 100% of the meals my kids ever ate, because I always thought my grandbabies are in there, and I want my children to have outstanding health so that when they have give birth and when their kids are raised, they have great health. And it has happened that way. But interesting enough, gardening is so important. And so supporting your local farmers, and find your organic farmers and join the CSA right now. Let them know you're interested, because that is going to be so important. But this is the why. So we talk all the time about, oh, they're doing this and they're stripping this and Bill Gates is insane. And we all know that. And don't get, apples from blah, blah, blah. However, the why is what's going to drive people. And that's why we're so big into education and we give so much of it away for free, is because one trace mineral, if you don't have enough atoms of specific trace minerals, which means you just need a little bit of it, a very little trace of it in the bodies, you literally have hormones that cannot be made. Yeah. You literally cannot make neurotransmitters. Yeah. Do you know what happens when we put our people on a whole food diet? Blows their mind. It blows their health. We can watch it. We can run a urinalysis the day that they get here for a retreat, right? The day they get here. And the day they leave, 7 days later, completely different. And all they did was change their food, do some detoxing, because minerals matter. Minerals are the sparks of life. And so if we literally just make one change and go to an organic apple, right, or go to the CSA, or really find the root that you can, as far deep and closest to the earth as possible to get your food from, you actually are going to see tremendous changes in your body, and you're going to save money. People always say, oh, it costs more to eat organic. No, it hasn't. I've proven that many, many times it doesn't. You actually pay less because you are not hungry anymore, because you have an apostat at the base of your brain that controls your appetite by measuring how many nutrients are in the bloodstream. So there's all these nutrients in the bloodstream from your weird adrenal tea and all the salads you're eating and sweet potatoes, right? Then you're not hungry anymore. And so you stop eating. So you stop spending money on food because you don't eat as much of it to get full. And because you're eating organic or next to the earth food, which is loaded with minerals, that's where they come from. Those minerals are now helping the body heal, so you don't need to buy supplements. So like you win and you win and you win when you choose food that comes from a farmer or that's more natural. So I think that I just wanted to mention that, because I think there's a lot of hope, even for those of you watching and for you. When we buy organic, we're not getting the side dishes, or at least not as near as many of them, and we are getting more minerals. And that's super important, because those, something growing in water only has the minerals that they're sticking in the water. That's
Mhm.
not getting the earth minerals out of the crazy vortex of this planet, with all the minerals. So that's what I
It's
add that.
No, that's a very good point. I'm very glad that you mentioned that, and think about the people that are stuck, have been stuck, eating processed foods loaded with a lot of sugars because we get addicted to sugars. And guess what? When you're eating a bunch of carbohydrates and that's your diet, you want more, you crave more, you're hungry more often, and people don't realize that when you get a balanced diet and get some good healthy nutrition in your body, you level out and things start to be a little more smooth, and you don't have to be eating all the time.
Yeah.
You driving down the road, you look in different people's cars. I'm a people watcher, and it's amazing how many people are eating while they're driving, like all the time. I always see them shoving stuff in their mouth. I'm like, wow, I don't ever have to do that. And drinking, I drink water all day long, but I don't ever have to shove stuff in my mouth. And it's a lifestyle thing where I think people get accustomed to it. They always have to have that bag of M&Ms next to them at their computer, at their desk, whatever the case may be. But that's that lifestyle that I think that people get so used to, and they don't realize it's actually killing them in the long run. So is there anything you guys want to close out with? Anything important you think our viewers would want to hear from you guys and what you guys offer?
Yeah, mine's going to be as much as knowledge is transformational, humans are so monkey see, monkey do. And not only that, our nervous system can absorb frequencies from people around us. And when I say frequencies, I don't just mean their vibe, I mean the frequency of their neural pathways, different neural connections, the way people get their dopamine needs met, their serotonin needs met, their oxytocin needs met, their norepinephrine needs met, the way people get their neurochemical needs met, you will start to adopt that by being around them. And your nervous system will start to adjust to whoever you're around. And like a lot of the healthiest habits I have now did not just have sleep, for instance. I knew it's important to sleep earlier, but when I was living alone, I would be up till 1 to 2 a.m. just working on my laptop and all of it, even when I knew all the research about sleep. And then I started dating a partner who was really good about sleep hygiene. And I go to bed early now, like 9 to 10 p.m. is normal. And I am like mind blown at how much better I feel. It's literally insane. I'm like, and I can't even say, how come no one told me? Everyone told me. I just didn't do it, right? So when you're like, oh, what's my final word of advice? I'm like, man, plug yourself into a tribe or culture or friend group or people who are living this stuff.
Community, yeah.
I didn't start going on walks until I had a girlfriend come stay with me for the weekend, and she would just go on walks, like 10 minutes walks, 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here, before a meal, after a meal. Her dog wasn't even with her. She was just in the habit.
Mhm.
And like being around her, going on walks, I was like, oh, maybe I'll be a walker. And it was just because she was there. So I'm just saying, find friends that have healthy habits and let your nervous system do the work of you matching them so you guys can help each other out, because it can feel like a lot to try to do it all on your own.
Very well said. Very nice. Zuzu, what you got?
Oh, good. I can talk too. I didn't know if that was. Oh, by the way, now when I'm working at 4 or 5 in the morning, because I go to bed early too, it's like, hey, mom, you awake? I'm like, oh, hey, girlfriend, because I'm like, oh, we can do our early morning meeting at 4:30. It's just weird, But my biggest takeaway, or my thing that I want to leave everybody with, is just the mindset. Like, get out of your brain that you are dependent on someone else for your health.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's like being raised Catholic. Years ago, I was, and I was told we're not, it's not for us to understand the Bible. We should go to church to learn that. I'm like, whatever, And so that's how I feel that society has come when it comes to our health and doctors. Well, we should really go to the doctor to ask, let that go. That is not it. You don't understand the power of the pharmacy in your body.
That's true.
Every one of those hormones is being made, the neurotransmitters, all the system, the saliva. Yummy. I got all the spit in my mouth right now, right? I'm talking about it. And literally, I'm smelling dinner. But anyhow, that is literally a chemical factory. Yes. And when you start chewing your food,
yes,
it is going to tell your body what to make so you can properly digest. So imagine if you get the minerals you need, you get the biophotons from your food, which are particles of light. You have healthy oils in your body, making your nervous system just believe how much your body can change without doing anything except drinking more water, eating better selected foods, and working on your sugar content. And trust me, no one craves sugar. If you're craving sugar, you do have candida, parasites, or cancer. period. Well, you all have cancer, but it's growing bigger because you're craving sugar. So sugar feeds cancer, hands down. No one can, not every single doctor knows that because they give you radioactive sugar before a PET scan. And then when you go in for the gamma rays, hit it and boom, now it lights up through your whole body because the cancer is eating the sugar. Sugar feeds cancer, sugar feeds candida, which makes you lethargic and you feel crappy in the morning and you can't get out of bed. So many reasons to avoid sugar and change your diet. And then number thing is believe you can get healed. You are the master of your body. I am the master of my body. And the only person standing in the way of me getting more sleep or going to bed earlier or eating better or putting down the donuts, I haven't had those in a long time, is me. That's right. You can't be blaming someone else or blame the government or blame your doctor or blame everybody else. And blame. Get out of that. It's a crappy frequency. You really want to hang out with someone who blames everybody for something. You'd want to hang out with people who you do want to be like. That nervous system regeneration that we get regenerated from the people around us, which is why we love each other, Mike. Mwah, mwah. You and Jason. Jason, get over here. We're only 4 hours away.
That's great. You mentioned your internal pharmacy. I love that. I'm going to steal that. I love it. I'm going to steal that. Of course. That was great information, you guys. Just a very energetic mindset you guys both have, and I love that. I'm a kid too. I know we always feel like kids, and I want to feel like a kid the rest of my life, and I'm doing my best to do so as well. So I really appreciate you guys being on tonight and offering your incredible services and opinions about stuff as far as your profession. Where can people find you?
We have a few different platforms. Our school is called Holistic Health Educators. So you can go to holistichealtheducators.com or find us on social media. That's if you want to take training programs and education from us. Our retreat center is called Lily Fields Center, and we're in Georgia, and that's Lily with 2 L's. So Lily Fields Center is the retreat center. And then my mom's page, if you want to follow her, that's like her landing page for all the different projects.
You can get to everywhere from one page.
Yeah, and that's called Zuzu Unleashed.
Unleashed, because I do not stay in the norm anymore, honey. 40 years of giving PowerPoints and telling mom, screw that. I'm just like, you name it, we'll talk about it, honey. I don't care.
She was never leashed, in case
I was never leashed, actually. I know, but it just sounds so much. I have gray hair. I can be unleashed now, you know?
Step into it even more, Mom. Yeah. So that's
you guys are awesome. I love it.
Yeah. It's so much fun working with Amy. Except now she's so put together, and I'm like, it's like
I wouldn't call it put together, but well, is what it is. So
it is.
Anyways, thank you for your time, Mike. This was really fun getting to talk.
I think she's going to stop me from talking now. Okay.
That was your cue to zip it. I'm kidding. Well, I really appreciate you guys spending the time with us tonight, and I know our viewers are really going to get a lot of education from this, and hopefully some people will look you guys up and look for your services. So I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys have an amazing evening, and we're here every Monday night at 5:30, so I'll have some other guests. Got some lined up actually the next couple of weeks, and so we'll hear from others like you and in different areas of expertise. So definitely, again, thank you so much for joining us tonight on Zealous Wellness with Mike Hollis, and we'll definitely see everybody next Monday night at 5:30. With that said, you guys have an amazing night, and we'll see you guys again. Love y'all.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you for watching Zealous Wellness with Mike Hollis. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you next time.